Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of The Scoreboard. We are in week 4 of the XFL, and we have a bunch of predictions for you. And the spreads seem to be getting more and more ridiculous in some cases, but we also have a pair of really tight ones at the end. Really, really close ones. So I am very excited to hear you guys' opinions there. I mean, of course, Smokey and JJ, who are with me here again today. So welcome to both of you. How did you like last week's XFL weekend?
Well, pretty good, right?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was good games there. And there seems to be more parity in the league than we thought.
Yes, though the Vipers actually played pretty well, which is, I guess, a sign of hope for you.
Well, if they could figure out how to score when they actually get into the red zone instead of having to score from long distances, then I think they could have a pretty good team. And they probably need Aaron Murray back there. You know what? They keep trading out their 2 quarterbacks. And
yes, I've seen that.
You know the old saying of if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. So
yeah,
they really need to figure out a game plan and let one quarterback take over this team. And maybe they're just waiting for Aaron Murray, but I've never seen this formula of switching out quarterbacks like that be successful for a long term. I mean, it hasn't.
Well,
happened.
long term. I mean, it's working. It's been working for the Saints for a couple of years.
Well,
like they're not constantly switching, but they're putting
different, though.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but
similar.
But
sort
then
of thing.
again,
But they also using
Taysom
Taysom Hill and other stuff.
Yeah, Taysom Hill is a much more dynamic player.
He'll play like
than
receiver
either one of these guys, because
that's true.
And they don't put him in at quarterback that much.
Yeah,
mostly
and
for Wildcat stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Quentin Flowers obviously has some good legs. I mean, he can run the ball. And this Cornelius kid can throw the ball. He's pretty good. Got a pretty good arm. But when you're taking out your quarterback on 3rd down and throwing in a fresh guy on 3rd down and 9, like that's not a spot that is going to be successful most of the time.
Yeah, it's tough. For quarterback, it's one of those positions where you really want to... You need to get into a rhythm, sort of thing. It's like offensive line. You got to do the same thing every time. Just got to get it going.
Yeah.
It takes a while, but yeah, we have some good games, obviously, and the Vipers played well. Let's see how that reflects on your and our prediction. Almost, or they kept it very close with arguably the best team in the XFL at the moment. So
yes.
Let's get into predictions for this week, man. First game that we got the Wildcats at the Guardians. And Wildcats obviously coming off an amazing win. They just swept the defenders. Like, no one saw that coming at all. They trounced them, absolutely. They are maybe justified. -7 at New York.
Actually, quick question, right? Since you said unexpected, did we actually talk about our results last week?
Nope.
Oh, our prediction results. Right, yes. Let's do that first. I forget. Smokey, how did it go for us?
I know exactly why JJ wants to talk about this, because he got all of them correct.
Oh, he did? That's pretty cool.
I actually didn't exactly know that. I just looked at the games and I knew we had different.
Right.
And I knew that, I believe... but I know that I did better than Alex. I didn't realize that I actually got all of them. But yeah, so I just generally wanted to bring that up for procedural reasons.
So he went 4 for 4. That's good.
Yeah, and we got 3 each, Alex.
That's not terrible. Considering we're doing spreads, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
I know sports.
JJ knows sports now.
He's
but
I think the World Series.
I was about to say I think my strength in terms of sports is baseball.
We can never neglect to mention that you picked the Nationals in 7, and everyone called you crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
We both were witnesses to that.
So,
all right.
Who's gonna win the XFL Championship this season?
Oh yeah,
JJ.
I mean, I'm going to look at 3 different teams that I think have really good chances at that.
I'll just pick one because it's going to come true, obviously.
Yeah. If it's going to come true,
well, if it's going to come true, I guess I'm going to have to pick the Battlehawks, huh?
Okay. Of course. If he says it.
We'll mark that down.
Obvious, right? Oh, we should do let's do that today after the show. Let's do early Champions predictions. Why not? I think 3 games are enough to maybe do that. But let's do the games first. So, LA Wildcats -7 at New York Guardians. Too overhyped or justified spread, Smokey?
Man, maybe that's overhyped. But then again, they do have Josh Johnson. And they have played much, much better with Josh Johnson. And Nelson Spruce is out. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He's not going to be playing with his injury. Matt McGloin looks like he's going to blow up every time he's on the field now. The Guardians, man, they can't get it together on offense. Their offense is horrible right now. It doesn't look anything like the team we saw in week 1. I think it probably is justified. And the way still kind of tough. The way this league is set up and the point afters, I think I will eat those points and take the Wildcats.
Okay, I think that I would have had a rather tough time picking this game based on what we've seen, relatively mixed displays on both sides of this matchup. But with the spread being given, since I don't have a particularly strong opinion one way or the other, I think I'm just going to take the points and take the Guardians.
I might be gullible here, but I'm kind of buying the hype halfway. Not as much of the Wildcats, but more of the Guardians really not being that good. I think we have maybe our first established dysfunctional organization in the XFL here, the Guardians, because you can hear it too. They're already annoyed by the whole sideline stuff in their interviews. Yeah. You can just tell they don't really know what to do. They really know what's going on. They still have a lot of stuff to be figured out. You can tell from the coach. You can tell from how they talk, and that's actually a pretty cool thing to factor into this whole evaluation. You can tell more easily about the team's intel sort of thing. And I think the Wildcats are the Guardians are not working properly, and I'm going to take the Wildcats. I'm going to do like Smokey. I'll eat the points and say they win by more than 7. How about Seattle at St. Louis at the Battlehawks? Seattle is plus 12. Biggest spread we have seen all year, if I'm not correct here.
Plus
yes,
12. Holy.
Wow. Yep.
That is 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
2 touchdowns and all of the conversion attempts.
Attempts.
That makes it really tough. I decided to stop picking my picks before hearing the spread, so I'm doing it on the spot right now. So this Brandon Silvers and the Seattle Dragons are going to the Battle Dome to take on Jordan Ta'amu and the Battlehawks. Wow, the Battlehawks do look like the second best team in the league right now, with DC going down in the fashion they did. But 12 points, holy hell.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
Even in Seattle, in St. Louis. I'll take the points there, man, and go with the Dragons.
All right. Change it. What do you think?
I'm very confident the Battlehawks are going to win this game. Mm-hmm. But that is obviously not the question tonight.
I guess most people are, right? Yeah.
A side note quickly, if the game sells out again, then there's a really good chance that on the next game they're going to open the upper bowl up, just as a side note.
That's pretty cool.
Because last game sold out, as a matter of fact, I believe, relatively early, but that doesn't relate to the outcome of the game necessarily. I mean, once they do open up, it might be louder, but...
Yeah.
So, Seattle. Not as bad as maybe I thought early on. St. Louis, better than most people thought early on. I might have been one of the few people that believed in them from the beginning.
Yeah, because you're a fanboy.
Well, yes, but I also like me my dynamic quarterbacks, and it turns out he throws well too.
He does throw well.
The throw-in Samoan. Where were we? Right. 12 points is a lot. The thing is, we know the Battlehawks can win by those margins.
They won by 20, covered the spread twice over.
Here's the thing, right? I just looked at it again to remind myself, but the Dragons lost by 12 in their last game against Dallas. Mm-hmm. Which I would say that Dallas and St. Louis are strength-wise maybe somewhat comparable. Of course, Week 1 wasn't particularly even, but that's like Dallas playing with a backup QB, so that's maybe not the most telling
situation. Spread is approximately justified here. Seems about correct.
Which means that it's hard to pick.
It's tough pick.
And you know what? I usually like making at least one crazy pick every week that makes more sense in the NFL because there's so many picks to make.
Yeah. Make the pick.
I'll take St. Louis.
Eat it. I thought you were going to say that. Boy, knowing that you got 4-4 last week, it's kind of tough to disagree with, But I'm going to deploy the same exact logic that I did last time. Both these teams have played 3 games in their franchise's history. 3 games, to me, never justify a 12-point spread. They didn't justify the 10-point spread last week. And they might have to keep raising the spread even more for the Battlehawks for me to at some point give in, but I'm also might not. So, no. Taking Seattle. I do like that football's back in St. Louis. This time it's even a likable team. Football in Seattle has never been likable, as far as I'm aware. So I'll take Seattle to take the spread though. 12 points is too much for me. Look for the Battlehawks to win it by like 8-10 or something. Because I think Seattle is going to be a little bit stronger this week. But I have little doubt that the Hawks are going to win it, but it's not going to be by that big spread. Also, this game has the shared lowest over-under of the entire matchup. So, not only do they believe that the total points aren't going to be high, but with the spread being at 12, they are literally expecting Seattle to not score more than like 12 points in total. Which is, that is a tough thing to say as an odds maker. But
what is the over-under?
The over-under is 39.5
in
this one. That means, less than 40 points in total.
They're expecting
and the
a
spread
blowout.
is supposed to be... Yeah, the spread is supposed to be 12.
To be fair, it looks almost like they built those based on the Dallas game, as I said. Because the Dallas-Seattle game last week. Because that was at 36 points total. And the Dragons losing by 12.
Yeah.
So that's really close to these odds.
They might, yeah.
Actually,
we'll see. I can't justify 12 points to myself. I want to, but I can't. I'll take Seattle with all these points. Next game, and this is by the way the first time the Battlehawks don't play on Sunday. Fun fact.
Right. Yes.
But on Sunday we have the 2 closest games, spread-wise or odds-wise by far of the weeks. Before we had 2 very decisive ones this time: Houston at Dallas, the Texas Bowl, and Houston -1.
Man, I think this is the game of the week right here. This is...
Yes.
I heard somebody say the XFL or whatever. It was a pretty cool little pun or whatever they did, and I forgot it, and I just blew it. So
well, but it's not the same as like NFL Germany, right? No. Where you have got 2 out of 8 teams here. NFL Europe had like literally 7 German teams and like 1 Dutch one. It's like,
Great.
Yeah, totally not offset. Man, PJ Walker still looks like he's going to be playing in the NFL next year. He's going to do some winter games next year. Jarvis Landry Jones and Bob Stoops has that air raid offense running pretty well there in Dallas. This is tough. Well, what is the spread here?
Houston -1.
It's -1 for Houston. So Houston is -1. 1 point spread.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think this will be a high-scoring, very close game. So -1 makes sense.
Almost pick it.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna pick Dallas to win this outright because I think it's time for Houston to drop one.
All right, you get 1 point, of course, in our prediction game, and the money line is almost even anyway. But all right. JJ.
Okay, the undefeated Houston Roughnecks.
Undefeated.
Now, after 3 games, it doesn't sound that spectacular, but right now they are the only undefeated team in the entire league.
I know a team who went undefeated for 9 games. I don't even know why I brought that up, actually.
I have heard of a team that went undefeated for, what was it, 17 games?
18 games?
18, 17,
Yeah, we're talking about the Patriots when they... Actually, the Dolphins went completely undefeated.
Dolphins, but I'm not sure if they had 16-game seasons at the time
And the
already.
Patriots went undefeated except for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so stuff happens. Where was I? Right. Houston undefeated, Dallas at home. Dallas does seem to be figuring out their game plan a little bit still because they seem to always start running the ball a little later than maybe they should. We've seen that the commentators pointed out during the game, as a matter of fact, where like it seems like every game they are like half a quarter earlier or something that they start running the ball more, and that seems to be when they find the most success. That being said, Houston, again, undefeated, very tough team. This is one of those where I would love if there was like a bit more of a bigger spread. I could just take the points and be happy with it. But
You can take the points.
I mean, the points don't really matter that much. You would assume.
It's a point. Take it. Grab it.
Fuck it. I'll take the home team. I'll take the point. I'll take Dallas.
Wow.
You convinced me.
Wow, you're both taking Dallas like that? That's crazy. Alright, Smokey, I gotta ask you one question. What is it with you and your fascination of professional Houston quarterbacks?
What do you mean? Dak
You always hype up professional quarterbacks from Houston that play for Houston.
Oh, Houston. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, well,
it's
come on,
almost
dude.
weird. It's almost weird.
Tell me who's
in this case.
All right. We're gonna do this. Who is better than PJ Walker?
In the XFL?
Yes.
I was just waiting for you to say Patrick Mahomes because of the lack of qualifiers.
Like Deshaun, Patrick, yeah. In the XFL, I don't know, man. I would think on paper Landry Jones should be, but so far no one. So far he should be the MVP.
Okay, well, I thought you were gonna throw
I was
out
about to say
somebody
this too,
so
like
I
it.
could tell you why you're wrong, but okay. You're good.
I was about to say this too. You might be even right in the XFL with what you're saying. In the NFL, it's just ridiculous.
Also in the NFL, of course. But
no, the NFL that's buffoonery. But we'll get to that.
I'll tell you. I think in the entire world of football, it's got to be Deshaun Watson number 1 and then PJ Walker number 2, right? I mean,
yeah. You know what? I might play this clip. I might play that clip where you actually admitted to not liking Deshaun over Mahomes because I saved
that
it.
never happened. That is an odious.
I have it. It's on my computer. You said it in the podcast once. I saved it for these exact moments. I saved it for these exact moments. And you know what? I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, if you ever watch the scoreboard, it's a running joke that I have where I tried to denounce and say, well, what it was, it all started off with a big joke. I was saying that Deshaun Watson's a really good quarterback, and I just kept pushing this over and over again until Alex would eventually bring up, he's like, yeah, he's good, but, he's not the best. And I'm like, no, he's the best. And he's like, well, what about Patrick Mahomes? And I'm like, Patrick Mahomes? He's mediocre at best. What? So Alex is stuck on Patrick Mahomes is the greatest football player of all time, apparently. I mean, it's a small sample size. He's got 2 years under his belt, and he's been phenomenal. He's really good. But it's more of a joke than anything. I do think Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal quarterback. I love Deshaun Watson. I love Lamar Jackson. I love Patrick Mahomes, regardless of what I say. Everything I say about Patrick Mahomes on the scoreboard is just tongue-in-cheek. It's all facetiousness.
I want to play it every time you say that now.
This does not exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, then watch the scoreboard. Watch the scoreboard later. You'll be able to tell if I remember to put it in. All right. That being said, I'll take Houston. You both have Dallas. I'm gonna just ignore what happened just now, and I'm gonna pick Houston because it's almost a pick 'em. It's as close to pick 'em as it gets. And you were right about one thing though, Smokey. You said you're expecting a high-scoring game. This is by far the biggest spread of the weekend. The over/under at 49. So the odds makers are also expecting it.
And by the way, I'm right about most things. Just to be clear.
Most things. I don't know. The sample size is too small for me with the XFL so far. I'm gonna judge that at the end of the season. But I got Houston as opposed to both of you. I think they're the best team, most consistent team, and they're gonna keep winning. And lastly, but not leastly, DC and Tampa Bay. Smokey, that's your Vipers. And the Vipers are -1. That means they are favored.
Wow, really? On the road?
Yes. Yeah. No, at home.
No, at home.
At home.
By the way, side note, the money line is exactly even.
Yeah, the money line is exactly even. The spread is +/-1 for whatever reason. Maybe just because they can't have a 0-point spread.
And they could have put it at half, I guess, but
we're picking it up at the 1-point spread.
Yeah.
I don't know how I wrote that up backwards. I wrote the Vipers on the road. Okay, well, I guess that makes a little more sense. I was expecting Vipers +3 or something here. Cardell Jones. I mean, this was just a bad game for the DC Defenders.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to represent the team. Just that one game right there. This all comes down to, I think, if Aaron Murray is healthy or not. And if these guys can actually score when they get in the red zone. Jesus. I think I'm going to go with... I don't know. It's time for the Vipers to win one. And they came so close against the best team in the XFL.
They did, and that was something to definitely think about. But I'm gonna give my thoughts when it's my turn.
It's only one, so going with the Vipers.
All right, JJ, what do you think?
Well, so we got the 0-3 Tampa Bay Vipers. The only team that hasn't won a game yet.
Favored
against the DC Defenders. As we said, the trends might suggest that Tampa's on the up, DC's on the down. I would consider 1 week of outliers not a trend, and I mean, it doesn't hurt that I get the extra point as well. Not that I think that's gonna matter much. I am going to take DC. And Alex, before you make your pick, you have the chance to make 4 different picks than as opposed to what I have done.
So you want to pick the Vipers here, is what you're saying?
I'm just saying. So far, we haven't agreed this week.
Yeah, that's correct. I do appreciate competition, but I'm also not an insane person. So I'm agreeing with the point you made there. I'm not seeing patterns in one game because they don't exist. That's by definition.
Oh, they actually improved over the last 2 games.
Well, how many games have they won? This is what I wanted to know.
They haven't won yet.
They haven't won yet, exactly. So no reason for me to believe that they're going to win against a team that, in my opinion, is definitely in the stronger half of the league. You see, for this year was an outlier game. I think for both these teams it was an outlier game. I don't think Tampa Bay is nearly on the level of Houston, even though it looked like it. I don't think DC would lose that type of game ever again this year. It was an outlier for both those teams. I think Washington is the stronger team. If it was a pick 'em, it pretty much is. I will still take them. I'd probably take DC at like a -3 or something, and I'm definitely going to take him at a +1. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to bet on this. This is, to me, the easiest bet of the weekend. I'm going to bet on this, and I'm probably going to take the under on the Houston and Dallas game. Those are my bets that I would come up right now. Maybe I'll put a little bit on the spread with Seattle. But
as long as you're okay with being wrong, that's cool.
I'm okay with being wrong if I end up being wrong. I don't know. We'll talk about that next week, but I'm going to keep track of this stuff. Yeah, I got the Defenders. You'll keep track.
Speaking of keeping track of stuff, I have one question, actually.
Ask.
Are we keeping track of the totals over the season so far?
Yes.
Because we are 3 weeks in and you're only ever giving us last week's.
If you have the total, you can announce it at the moment.
5, 6, and 7 with JJ in the lead.
How many does JJ have?
7.
7, and we both have?
I have 5, you have 6.
Alright, so it's pretty close still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm right about most things. Smokey Rameriz 2020.
Yeah, only because
you have 5 points out of how many that we've picked so far?
What is it, 12?
12. That's less than
Hey,
half.
that means you're 500.
I'm 500. I'm Eli Manning.
Yeah.
That's my first thought too when it came to being 500.
Exactly.
You should be proud of me, Jeff Fisher, right now.
Yeah. But as long as it beats the Patriots twice, that is a pretty good 500.
Mm-hmm.
I
want to say this about the DC Defenders, man. After that loss, I don't think they're in the upper half. I think they're fluctuating between 4 and 5 right now.
All right. I think they're still the second best team in the East to me.
Yes.
It should not come as a huge surprise.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, if the Vipers win this game in convincing fashion, they might assume that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Also, it's worth noting that I think the West is still a little stronger overall.
Yeah, the West is stronger just because of the two Texas teams.
Well, you got
I think Battlehawks are probably by a good margin the best team in the East at this point, but the Vipers have a shot to make that claim.
Number 1 facing number 3 this week in Dallas, and then of course Battlehawks are probably number 2 right now, and that convincing win with the Wildcats. I mean, I think you could have all 4 of those teams ahead of the Defenders at this point.
You could. I mean, you definitely could. But we'll get back to that maybe after like half the season or something. Let's now, because you brought it up, let's do a way too early championship prediction. So I want, for both of you, I want the exact matchup. One team from the East, one team from the West. Who's going to the big one and who's winning?
Oh,
Go
boy.
ahead, JJ.
You got opinions on this.
I'm rather confident to say that St. Louis is going to be in that game.
All right.
That doesn't seem like that hard of a pick. I'm gonna be very confident to say that they're gonna face a team from Texas.
All right.
Which just brings up the question of how is this gonna go down in detail.
Yeah.
I think right now, depending on, by the end of the season it could look different, but right now you would give the edge to Houston, I think, over Dallas. Most people would probably also pick them to win the whole thing, but since I said it earlier, and since apparently what I say comes true, I'm just gonna say St. Louis is gonna beat Houston for in the $1 million game or whatever they're calling it this time around.
All right, Smokey, you got a call?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say Houston over the I'm sorry, I was speaking away from the mic. Houston over the Battlehawks.
All right, so you're all in agreement here.
Well, with the
With the
matchup.
game. Yeah. So you picked Houston to win it. No, you picked St. Louis to win it. Smokey picks Houston to win it. All right, let's be really, really boring here, right? I got the exact same matchup. I think we got the two best quarterbacks in the league. I think it's going to be the game that the XFL needs as a big stage national championship game. It's going to be an explosive game, two great quarterbacks, two offenses that can score. It's going to be exactly the publicity and the action that is going to be so important to establish this league as a big one. And for my pick to win it, I'm going to be a bit strategic here. I'm going to say St. Louis as an overall winner because that's what counts, and because they are to me more likely to get there than Houston, because Houston has tougher competition to even get there with the Renegades. So I think that the West is more likely to win it, but I think in most scenarios where the East wins it, it's the Battlehawks almost every time. To me right now. So they're more likely to be in there than any other team, and thereby they have the biggest chance to win it again, in my opinion. To win it, in my opinion. So I'm going to be strategic with that one. If it actually happens to be Houston or Dallas, it's going to be a very tough game, though. But after 3 weeks, we might be looking at completely different teams, too. A lot of things can happen. A lot of teams can turn it around. We're seeing LA maybe now making a point. Maybe Seattle can set a bit of an exclamation point this week.
DC could bring it back together.
They could try and bring it back.
I think Jonathan Coachman said these teams are going to have to probably win 7 games to make the playoffs. That's probably just the law of averages there, but the Vipers would have to win out. Yes, that's what he's saying. I guess according to his advanced mathematics, that's...
You might not have to win out in the East after all.
I mean, depending on the records, you could do it with 6.
Yeah, I think it was like probability.
Because if the two top teams win with 6, then the two bottom teams lose with 4, right? Like 6 and 4 and 4 and 6, it's 10 games.
Well, it could be lopsided amongst the East and the West. Because all the teams are playing each other.
East seems.
I think an East team could totally go 5-5 and make the championship
as a
game.
second.
Yeah,
Eastern championship game.
I think it's just.
It's possible.
I think
there's if I had to take out one team right now, I'm gonna say they're not gonna go this year. They're already out of the game. To me, that would be New York. Actually, they seem like the most dysfunctional team. I don't.
Obviously,
they are the one team I'll take out of the race. They're not gonna go to the $1 million game this year, in my opinion. Tampa has a shot. They got to win out. They got to improve, but they have flashed their chance of doing so. New York to me is not. But my pick, St. Louis at Houston, overall winner. I'm gonna take the Battlehawks because I'm also a fanboy and I like the statistics.
I mean, I don't really like the odds of the Dragons either to make it.
No.
If you think of just who they're going up against.
Yeah, you think of the that's true.
I don't think so.
That's why I'm saying the West generally is tougher. So for the winner, you should always pick an Eastern team.
Yeah, no, but that's also what I'm saying, because you said if you had to count on one team, I mean, picking the weakest team in the West seems like a really
Are
safe...
they the weakest team in the West?
I mean, it looks like it, right?
It does, yeah.
Well, with the Wildcats winning in that fashion, Seattle definitely looks like the weakest link.
Yeah, but we're looking at all of this in parts with arguments based on individual games. We're still looking at the small sample size.
Oh yeah.
So I think once that sort of end of season thing comes around, we're looking at playoffs. We're gonna have a better idea of this stuff.
Well, yeah, but
that's why we're doing it way early.
By the time we have that many games to look at, the records will also have established themselves so much that there's going to be very little wiggle room at who can make it.
I think after week 6 we could make a much better prediction, but.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so. Once we've seen most of the matchups, everyone just we know how team strengths and weaknesses play out, and we get some more of the tendencies. Definitely, we'll be able to make more educated judgments. So to close it out, maybe Alex's weekly betting advice if you want to make millions overnight, which that never works with sports bets, but that's my tagline. Give me the under on the Texas Bowl. I don't believe in 49 points. It's gonna be a hard fought game. It's classic Texas style. People are gonna go to running the football more than they usually do. They're gonna play hard defense and they're gonna grind it out. It's gonna be hard fought, and I'll take the under on the biggest over under in the week. So that's not a big surprise to me. Also, give me the defenders. I mean, easily. You even get a point for free at Tampa Bay. I would take him at a negative spread. I'm gonna definitely take him twice at a positive spread. That's probably $20 bet to me right there.
I think you could take the money line, get a little bit more out of the win, rather than taking the points.
You can take the money line. It's an even money line, of course. At one, it's almost the same. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see how my bookie actually handles this, because if it's supposed to be actually the exact same, then maybe they don't have a spread or something. But we'll see. Either way, you pick DC no matter what, unless they're favored by like 4 or 5 points. You always take DC in this one. So those are my two lock them in, take them to the bank, 100% picks of the week. I guarantee you won't be wrong. By the way, Smokey, I want to inform you that I got 3 out of 4 bets correct last week. That was 3 football bets, and I actually bet on the Fury boxing match, and I picked the under in the round total, which was at 10.5, and I picked the under, and I was right. I did. I should have bet on the outcome, but I wasn't informed enough. I believe that Tyson Fury was going to win it, but that's because I'm a fanboy. Once again, it's never a good reason to do it. Yeah. But I got the under in the rounds.
Yeah, you were one of the few, because most people, of course, believe that Deontay Wilder was going to take that, but he looked kind of out of shape, to tell you the truth.
He got destroyed. I mean, it was not even close. He was done round 3. He was,
he won the first fight. There's going to be a rubber match out of this, and
yes,
we'll see how good a shape Deontay Wilder comes in for the second or for the third round.
I'm looking forward to that. Also, Tyson Fury probably weighed like 20 pounds more than his weight or something, which is always an advantage if you're 6'9".
Yeah.
Because you'll weigh in, you'll go eat and drink, and you put on 20 pounds in 3 days or something. You can just do that. That's an advantage.
Giant man out there slugging.
He's giant. Like his arms are. He's got the longest arms I have ever seen on a person.
Oh yeah.
It's incredible. You can't reach it. He's probably in the 270, 275 range. At his height there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that other match. But
he had
I just wanted to gloat.
The WWE match with Braun Strowman.
Right.
And did not. I mean, looked basically. I mean, he wasn't as thick as Braun Strowman. That was a power lifter from back in the day, but
the height?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was taller and just kind of dwarfed him, you could say, but he wasn't, as thick chested or anything, but yeah.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have the mass on the frame, but that's
exactly
the weight division. Though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that match right. I anticipated that right. Not saying I'm a boxing expert or anything, but I definitely got the rounds right because it was hyped up so much it would have to go, or like someone was gonna knock someone out, and I felt like that pretty strongly. So I got that bet. Just wanted to gloat about that a little bit. But I think that's it for today. Thank you everybody for watching. Drop a like on this episode if you did enjoy it, of course. And subscribe to both Beyond Football and the Trash Talkers YouTube channel. That is Smokey's channel. Link to that can be found on my channel page. Vice versa also, in case you're watching on their channel.
Trash Talk Sports.
JJ, thank you again for being here. Oh, Trash Talk Sports. You have a dedicated
Yes.
one now, correct? Trash Talk. You're gonna have to send me the link to that one so I can actually feature you.
Alright.
That's a very good idea. Trash Talk Sports. So that's where that's gonna be uploaded. Check that out and give them a subscription to get that channel kickstarted. It's gonna be a lot of good content, I would imagine. And yeah, thank you for watching. Drop a like. Does anyone have anything else to add, sports-wise, JJ?
Nope.
Nothing. So then, thank you for watching, and we're gonna see you in the next one.
Deuces.